Hello and welcome back to No It's Crochet. My name is Nicole and today we are going to be talking about what I've been working on lately. It has been a bit since I've done one of these. I think I'm going to be doing them about once a month-ish, but I'm also going to be doing them on I figured out. So the first Tuesday of the first full month. Does that make sense? So not like the first Tuesday of the month if Monday was the 30th, but once I have a few more days in there, I can kind of put it out. So, it's going to drop towards the first of the month, sometime around there, right? Okay, good. Vibe check. Let's see. I'm kind of like in that weird place where I am enjoying the easy flow of crochet and haven't been wanting to do much that's challenging my skill set. But I'm also sensing that might start to shift. So it'll be interesting to see what that ends up looking like for sure. Can you read that? Make sure you hydrate. My bestie got that for me because, yeah, she just knows me, right? Okay. So let's start with what I'm wearing. And this is one of my upcycled tees. And the concept behind this, if you haven't been watching the channel for a while, is that I don't like t-shirts that come right up, or any shirt that comes right up on the neck and kind of almost presses into the neckline right there. So, but yet I travel a lot with my husband during the summers and we get these amazing tees from all these different cool places, and the best ones generally are not going to be V-neck t-shirts. So I end up having to do something with the neckline in order to make it comfortable for me to wear. And then I kind of came up with the concept of maybe I can add a little crochet bling to it and cut the kind of, basically I cut it straight across here and then stitch some epaulets in place to give the neckline a little bit more space. So I'm basically increasing the neckline and dropping it down by about that much. I'm not sure that I'm in love with this concept yet, so I'd love to hear from you what you think about it. Is this something that you want me to kind of continue exploring and maybe put out a tutorial on this? Or I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. So this is the third one that I've done, each of them slightly different, but still taking into effect the whole sleeve space here. And I don't know that it's the vibe that I want to go for. I mean, it's funny. I see it hanging in my closet and I'm like, meh. And then I wear it and I'm like, that's not so bad. So I don't know. I'm really on the fence. Tell me what you think. I want to know. All right, moving on. We have a couple of whips that we are actively working on right now. Farah and I are working on. That's it. Yes, Farah's here, kind of hanging out, just giving me the vibe. And so let's see if we can kind of talk a little bit about those. The first one that I have going on is the crochet blanket. This is going to be the first blanket that I ever finish, if I ever finish it, that is. And it's based on one of Nauticrawl's blankets. I will for sure put that. It's in my Go Sadie, which is, if you check Go Sadie out, it's free. You can kind of go check it out. You'll see all of my current whips and past whips and all that good stuff. It's kind of like Ravelry on steroids. In fact, it pulls in a lot of Ravelry. So anything that's on my Ravelry is also on my Go Sadie, and I'm kind of testing it out to see what I think about it. So you can check it out there. I'll link to it, and then you can see all of the patterns rather than me showing you each individual link. It's all on my Go Sadie. Anyway, I need to do almost 199 granny squares. but we've got the granny square sunburst, and then we also have the traditional granny squares. So, here's the kind of difference. But I'm doing them in 3 different colors. So not just this brown, also in this kind of, what is this? This is night blue. And then also in the blue camo, I think is what this color is. And I'm not seeing it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Blue camo stripe. And then the brown is walnut. These yarns are from Hobby Lobby. They're the I Love This yarn, which I find to be one of the softer, sort of really ultra budget acrylics. Not a red heart, but up there kind of in that realm. And so that's what I'm making the blanket out of. It's still not the softest thing that I've ever used, but as far as like price point for making a blanket and having to buy as many skeins as you need for a blanket, that's in a reasonable kind of state. So I am 47 squares in to this at the moment, and I just kind of keep plugging away at it. Every, week or two, I add, 7 or 8 squares. So that's a slow turn project for when, I'm kind of just either I need something that's grab and go and I don't have to think about it because the project that I'm otherwise working on is in that state where it's like the next step is going to require a lot of focus. Or, I'm just like, I just don't feel like working on anything else. So that one's going to take time. I think I started it like a year ago, January-ish. I don't know, somewhere in there. And, so whenever I get it done, I get it done. No big deal. The next project that I am working on, I am making a new top. And this is going to be kind of a lot of positive ease just that I can throw on. It'll be kind of like a sleeve down to here that kind of rolls up. I'm going to try and put a V-neck in it. I'm literally just making this up as I go. And okay, so it's actually kind of wrinkly because I was on the plane with it and I spilled some water on it, so it was kind of crumbled up in my project bag while it was wet, and so it got a little wrinkly. That's going to get fixed, I promise. But this is what I've got so far. And the yarn is really pretty. I am really enjoying this yarn. But I got to tell you, I tried 5 or 6 different stitch patterns with this yarn, and I finally got to the point where double crochet was the only thing that was going to really work with it. Let me show you the yarn. So this yarn is from Ice Yarns, and it is a really pretty, it's a cotton viscose blend. So, it's got some really lovely colors in there. It's called Summertime Color. And the label doesn't tell me what color this is, but I think it's just purple. If I had to guess, I think it's just purple. And it comes, if you're not familiar, Ice Yarns comes in a pack. You generally are not buying just one skein. You buy a package, and it's usually either 4 or 8 skeins per pack. It's a really lovely yarn that has really shiny spots in it, and that's kind of the viscose. So if you can kind of see here, let me, yeah, I'm going to zoom back and zoom in. You can see a little bit where some of the shiny spots in that are, and it just adds a little extra texture, a little extra depth to the piece, in my opinion. But I think it's because of those shiny spots that, you know what, I'm going to insert a photo because I actually know I have a photo of that. Those shiny spots make different stitch patterns a little bit challenging to kind of come across in any sort of, I don't know, it just wasn't working out that way. So It is a lovely yarn. It's actually really simple to work with. It's kind of it is a cotton base, and I think the shiny spots are where the viscose comes in. It's not a super rough cotton, but it's also not super soft. So it's kind of interesting from there. And it is a DK weight yarn. So I will link that down below. I don't get any commission on that, so I'm just sharing it with you for the sake of you being able to see that. But that, I'm just calling it the make it as you go kind of tee, and that's because I'm not following a pattern on it. I'm just pulling in pieces from and elements from different tops that I've made before to make something that I know that I will enjoy. So that's what I'm doing with it. All right, so finished objects. Wait, first we drink. I am not hydrating nearly enough lately. Not a good thing. Oh. And I dented my water bottle in the airport so it doesn't sit quite right anymore. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna stick it in a drawer and then maybe it'll stay still. Finished objects. The t-shirt, I did finish that, thankfully. Oops, I gotta cut that little guy off. I got a little hanger there, so I will do that. And then my other finished object for the month is the perfect tee. And again, this will be on my Go Sadie and my Ravelry pages. You can find it in both places. This top I love, love, love. So I'm going to insert a photo from mine and my husband's 25th anniversary, which if you remember from last month, I have a fuzzy husky hair on my mouth. Apologize for that. If you remember from last month, I wanted to finish a top for my 25th anniversary party. And I didn't want it to be this casual, but at the end of the day, it was kind of a backyard barbecue style, so I felt like it was fine to be that casual. And my sister-in-law took this photo, and boy, do I look skinny in it. I'm like, hello, girl, that's a great picture of me. And my husband, of course, but, it's a great picture of me and my husband. And this was a super easy make. So I got this. It's a free pattern on her website. She doesn't have as many photos as she talks about certain photos that aren't there. They may be there on the paid version. I don't know because I didn't get the paid version. But this uses the linen stitch, or the otherwise known as the moss stitch is another name for it. And it was actually a really quick, fun workup. Now, I did do a couple of modifications on it. First of all, hers has more of a scoop rounded neck, and mine's kind of more angular. I'm not sure what happened on that, why that worked out. I'm totally okay with the neck being a little bit more angular. Doesn't bother me, but I did notice that, so I don't know what the issue on that was. The other things that I did on the sleeves here, I did a light decrease on the sleeve just to kind of pull it in a little bit, because I don't like my sleeves being really flowy and baggy. I like them to hug a little bit more. And I have a really narrow shoulder base, especially considering my larger breast base. So it's having a sleeve that kind of pulls in doesn't sort of add extra oomph to this area. So that was one thing that I modified. I also did some decreases in the back, because with the larger space for the chest area, oftentimes the pattern will then have a lot of fabric in the back that's completely unnecessary. So I did some decreases, and you can kind of see it to give it a little more waist shaping and less spacing in the back. What I would have done different, I think, I would have probably started those decreases a little bit higher up than I did. because I can, when I wear it, I can see just a little bit of that excess fabric there, and then maybe done them slower than I did. But overall, I'm very happy with the way that looks on my body. It also helps to kind of break up. The yarn started pooling. And if you're not familiar with pooling, it's where you start getting like this really consistent color pattern in yarns that are kind of variegated like this. So I wanted to break that up, and using the decreases really helped so that it's less. I mean, you can see a little bit more of it in this picture here, but versus up here where it's very sporadic. That's more what I wanted. It doesn't look bad. It's not noticeable, I would say, overall. Not too bothersome. And then the final thing that I did is I added the split hem at the waist. I really like the split hem because it gives the ability to kind of go over the chest area a little bit easier, and it gives a little bit more roominess for the hips. And while I don't have really large hips, it's always nice for wearing over like a pair of jeans that might be a little bit bulkier and add some bulk from that. And so all I did for that was stop doing the row all the way around. Once I got to the level that I wanted, I just stopped there and then just went back and forth from side to side, and then I chained on and added on for the back piece and went back and forth, and then I just did a little finishing rib all the way around for that. So all those notes should be in, they're not specifically outlined because I'm really bad at tracking the specific, like at row this, I did this. I will do my best to get better at that because I know a lot of people like those details, but it is at least kind of explained in a high-level overview on both GoSadie and Ravelry pages, project pages, so you can find those over there. Okay, future chain-ons or future projects that I have in the very near future plans to create. The first is that the gal that I made the baby denim jacket for, insert adorable photo here, she has come back and asked me to make an adult size one for her. She has a jacket that she wants me to cut the sleeves off and make one. And I didn't have the exact same yarn, and I let her know that. And she goes, that's totally okay. I'm okay doing different colors than what hers is. I just want another Nicole original. And so I asked her what her favorite colors were, and she said teal, navy blue, light blue, seafoam green, and fuchsia. So then I started looking through my stash and figuring out what do I already have that might meet those colors. And I do have this very lovely yarn that I actually did buy for jackets. I just haven't used it yet. That has a little bit of the seafoam green. And if we kind of dig in here a little bit deeper, there's also a little bit of the fuchsia kind of deeper in there. And I sent that to her, but she didn't love the browns and the oranges in there. So that one was a no-go. The next one that I sent her was this one, which has the kind of tealish kind of color, and she liked it. And I also sent her this one, which is more on the fuchsia end of things, and she liked that as well. But she was really kind of looking for something that had more multicolor in it. So I did find one of these yarns in the exact colors, minus the fuchsia, that she really fell in love with. So once I get the jacket from her, I will start working on this for her. And I've got a couple other jackets in the plans. I'm having a really hard time sort of motivating myself to make them right now because we're about to hit 6 6 digits? No, not 6 digits. We'd be dead if we were hitting 6 digits. 3 digits for the first time this year, which is the earliest Phoenix will ever have hit 3 digits. And it feels every bit of that heat right now. So the idea of working on a denim jacket that's going to keep you kind of warm is like, really? Like, yeah, hard to inspire myself to do that. And yet at the same time, I also understand I'd like to get more in my stock so that when it comes to the fall and the season changes, I already have some made. So I do want to inspire myself to get at least 1 or 2 done over the next few months to add to that inventory. But those are future projects, not right now projects. So the first one would be the denim jacket that she wants me to work on. And then the next thing that I want to do is really like get back to, I feel like I'm talking in circles today. I apologize for that. This is my favorite t-shirt. Like I wear it a lot. I don't remember where I got it, but it's just a really cheap, inexpensive, fast fashion kind of t-shirt. But I love it because I love how basic and simple, light and flowy it is. I love the collar is a little, it's not like it doesn't show my bra straps, but yet it comes down off my neck. And I love the tie at the bottom. I love the pocket too. That's just kind of bonus, but I also love this tie down here because then I can cinch it in the waist so that even though it is baggier in the area and I've got more ease, it doesn't make me look like I'm pregnant when I'm wearing it. If you know, you know. There are a lot of tops out there that when you wear them, they end up making you look pregnant when you have larger chest. That's what I'm trying to avoid. So I want to replicate this in a pattern that I'm going to design. I first tried it with that yarn, the yarn that I'm making, this purple yarn, and it wasn't flowing enough, so that's a DK. I think I need to go down to a sport weight yarn, and the print was just it was challenging things that I didn't want to challenge in the very first project. So I'm either going to use a sport weight cotton, or I do have some bamboo, and I really want to try making it in bamboo, but I've never made that's not true. I've made several full projects. I've not made a full project with this particular bamboo. So we're going to experiment with it. That's going to be a little bit of the process. And that leads us to some of the things that I have purchased recently. Well, one thing that I've purchased recently. I've signed up for Interweave's Crochet Design Garments class. And this is a class that teaches you either if you don't want to design garments for sale, that's totally fine. If you just want to know the basics so you can customize them for your own wear, you can wear it for that. For me, it's going to teach me how to design more garments. I don't know if I will ever design garments for the masses because that seems a bit overwhelming to me at this phase, but who knows? I reserve the right to change my mind in the future. It could happen. But in the meantime, I want to be able to design garments that appeal to me without having to look through massive amounts of designs. Or what I find is I will find a pattern that I like, but it is in a worsted weight yarn, and I would much rather have it in a sport weight yarn. But then I've got to I may as well just design it from scratch at that point. So I don't know. There's probably an easy way to do the math calculation. I don't know what it is. So designing it from scratch might be easier. We'll have to see on that one. So I want to finish that class, and then I can kind of get to designing that new top that with the tie. And it's so cute. Maybe I'll even add the pocket. Who knows? We'll have to see. So stay with me because I'm going to bring you along for that journey as I do these whip videos, and we'll see how that progresses as we go. All right, some behind the scenes. Now, I know I mentioned last month that I have set up the Buy Me a Coffee, or as I'm calling it, Buy Me a Skein kind of support program. And I have a new supporter on there. I know it's going slow. It's totally okay. I don't need a massive amount of people, but I did want to give a shout out to, okay, let me get her name right. Alician, I think. I think that's how you say it. Alician, if I'm mispronouncing that, I totally apologize. I am really working at getting better at name pronunciations, but I'm a long way off. Alician, thank you so much for being our latest Buy Me a Coffee supporter. And if you want to support the channel in that way, either with just a tip, which is a one-time offer, or you want to be a monthly subscriber, you can do that. The link is right there. Thank you, Farah, for sharing that. You can take a picture of that with your phone and it will go right to the website. Or if you're on the computer or desk or TV or whatever, the link is in the description and that makes your life a little bit easier. Okay, so life loops. Loops? Yes, loops. Hello, speaking. Yes, life loops and laughs. And not so many laughs lately. Actually, yes. I took a trip out to North Carolina recently to visit my son and granddaughter, and she's 6. Oh my gosh, that is such an interesting age. She's learning every single day something new, challenging every boundary she can think of. And I'm really encouraging my son to really teach her how to challenge those boundaries in an effective way. And, and I told him, I said, you're going to hate doing this until she becomes an adult. But then when she's an adult, you're going to be so glad she knows these skills. So, yeah, that was a good trip. It was a very productive trip. I had a lot of fun spending time with them, and we got a lot done. The interesting thing is I took my new crochet bag with all of my crochet hooks. I bought a set of the really cheap Amazon ones that look like the Clover Soft Touch, but they're knockoff. So it was like $10 for an entire set. And I bought the set just to have in that bag so I could take them with me wherever I went, and I never was missing the right hook that I needed. And a couple of them worked great, and a couple of others that I tried literally snagged the yarn when I was using them. So I left a really not happy. It's past the time that I can return them. I mean, it's $10. It's not the end of the world that I can't return them, but I'm not going to use them again because, I mean, I guess I could just replace the ones that weren't usable. I suppose that's a possibility. And that'll save me a little bit money from having to buy and replace the entire set. But obviously, if it's snagging the yarn, that's a no-go. So I guess there's just a little bit of a roughness that didn't get sanded down on a couple of those hooks, and I can't use them for that reason. So that was a wah-wah moment, but fortunately I had what I needed to have stuff to work on while I was on the road, and was able to still have my stuff going, which is a good thing, because I need that. I need that wherever I go, so, yep. And then I almost did not get today's video recorded because it's another migraine day. I took some stuff for it, took a nap, and I went from like a 7 eking towards a 9 down to now I'm about a 3, working back up to a 4 or 5. So I'm probably going to end this pretty quick and kind of call it a day. But I'm hoping I have my nerve ablation scheduled for next month, April. And I'm hoping, keeping my fingers crossed, that that makes a significant improvement in some of the migraines I get. Now, I know that that's not going to fix all of them. I 100% know that going in. But I get 2 types of migraines, and I'm hoping that that really helps with one of them. The ones that start from the neck and shoulders and kind of work up and then up to the migraine in the front. Those are the ones that I'm most expecting the nerve ablation to help with. The nerve ablation is going to kind of burn the nerves, I know that sounds horrible, in the neck so that it stops sending those pain signals up to the brain. Fingers crossed. Keep me in your thoughts as I get that done, and hopefully that keeps me moving forward, keeps me a little bit busier. But if you are a chronic sufferer, pain sufferer, any sort of sufferer of anything whatsoever, gosh, you know what? We make the best of every day and keep our chins up as much as we can. Some days are easier to do that than others, but we just keep at it, right? Yes. Let me know if you're in that camp down below, because I want to, give a shout out to you. I appreciate you so much for watching. And that's all I've got for today. So thank you so much for staying tuned. And we've got lots of yarn reviews coming up. I've got some great videos coming up. I'm going to share more about the Go Sadie website that I've mentioned a couple of times here. Check that video out, coming in the next week or two. I'm not sure if it's next week or the week after, but it will be coming out really soon. It'll be my review of the Go Sadie app. If you're have started seeing or getting information about that, this will be your chance to kind of get an outsider's opinion of what it's all about. Thanks so much, Farah. Frog us out of here. Ribbit.